Inside Thursday night, how's it going? Alright, strip back, good crack, multi-trade podcast. Share the knowledge you know, help to make our sector grow. Everybody's learning from experts and the journeyman. Insights.
Right, and we're back. Season 8, Episode 2. I'm Stephen Buckley.
I'm Keith Delahan.
And this is Inside the Stripped Back podcast, sponsored by Robust Lighting.
And also brought to you in association with Snickers Workwear Ireland.
Yeah, look, I think it's one of those episodes that's trade-based, which I like.
Yeah, look, I'm really intrigued to hear this one because Dylan has been on our radar for a long time. And it's a really, it's a real from the ground up story that he's going to share with us today, from his journey through his apprenticeship, you know, to being the main foreman on site for an old company, and then being guided into his, I suppose, his dream, which was to set up his own company and I suppose do well.
Yeah, I guess like it's not always about the highs, it's about the lows and, you know, the difficult moments.
Yeah, look, and he's gonna, you know, share the insights into running, I suppose, starting out as a small business into a medium to large scale business. And what I like about him as well is he'll be brutally honest. He'll share the stories, the bad times and the good times. You know, all things got to do with, I suppose, mental health as well. And it's a real privilege for us to have him in because, as far as I know to date, it's his first podcast that he's going to come on, which is great for us. And like we've always said in previous seasons, is we want Irish contractors, you know, construction owners, business owners. We want them in here. Let's jump into it.
Inside the Stripped Back podcast comes to you in association with Snickers Workwear Ireland.
Covering you for all your workwear needs. Head over to snickersworkwear.ie and find your local stockist.
Dylan, thanks for joining myself and Keith. Season 8, Episode 2. Delighted to have you.
Thanks for having us, lads.
Great to finally snare you in. You're part of the pack that we've been trying to break down, the O-Rock Electrical, Kieran Roach. You're part of all them gang. You're the first one to actually come in and accept the offer, so really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem at all, yeah. So the social media gang, I suppose, is building now at this point. And I obviously use all the lads on my own jobs and I'm building relationships with the lads as subcontractors now at this stage. So, yeah.
So you can make them come in then, basically, is it?
I'll give the lads a shout for you now.
Sound.
Yeah. We got the heads up from Goosey Goo, Sean, wasn't it? So he sort of put us on to you, saying that you'd be willing to come on, like, which is not really that sort of prevalent with, you know, guests that we've had. Some of them are a bit nervous, they don't know what they're walking into. It's something that might be a bit daunting, but like what you said just before we came on air, it's like you walk into a studio, it's mobile phones and tripods and a bit of chat, like it's all it is, isn't it?
That's it. Like, this is my first time doing anything like this, so I didn't know what to expect walking in here. But they're just two lads and you are in the trade as well, and that's what it is, like, and you want to sit down and just have a conversation. And I suppose that's the way we are really going in the construction industry, is social medias and podcasts and content and stuff like that. And it's really being driven hard now at the minute. So
you know yourself there. We were upstairs in the visitor centre here at Robus, and we had a 2-hour chat before we were even doing this. So if you had recorded that as well, you've got another 2 episodes, you know.
We'll be home earlier.
Yeah, be home earlier, yeah. But it's all networking and getting yourself out there now, isn't it? The long gone are the days where you were, you know, in a fucking cave, like, and, you know, not interacting with other trades and keeping it all for yourself type of thing, you know.
That's what it's all about. Like, you have to get yourself out there. Like, you're not going to get any work off people if you're just hiding away and you're not getting yourself out there on the camera. So I'm trying my best to really push social media as much as I can as well.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying to get it going for myself because it really is the way it's going. I only actually had the conversation with a developer. Funny enough, it was the day I met Kieran and Sean Fox from Goosey Goo, both over in the Rat Mines area. And I was at the meeting a developer and he was saying, is it busy out there? And I was saying, it's absolutely flying. He said, chatting to a couple of lads and it's gone a bit quiet. And I said, like, do you mind me asking what sort of work are you doing? And he said, Now there'd be older lads like in the construction industry, and I said, I'm seeing that trend of older lads and older crews kind of not really getting to work anymore. And I do think it's people maybe sitting at home on their phones and seeing us young lads on social media, and they kind of want us in the home now because we're, I suppose, showing our portfolio and showing what we can do. But these lads aren't, and I think maybe they're falling behind a little bit. But it shows the power of it, really, though.
Yeah, we've said it like probably from season 1 onwards, like that. Your social media like is your digital CV, like, and it's a digital sales platform as well, because it's the first thing that I'll go to if I'm getting any work done at home or any type of service. It's what have they done previously, and it's there in real time. You know, you can see it. You can see the timestamp. You can see the walkthrough on jobs. Like yourself coming onto Instagram and talking through projects from the start of it. You'll walk back to it. You'll probably see the ins and outs of the during of it and then the end of it as well. So they're seeing, you know, the reliability within the tradie or the contractor, you know, which I think you weren't getting before. Like people were maybe ringing up a Golden Pages or you know, maybe getting a reference off somebody else in the town, and it's only, you know, the proof is in the pudding when the job is done, which could be good or bad, you know.
Yeah. And like we've all seen that as well, but you know, when you get a reference from someone, you know, like someone might tell you, well, look, Keith is a good electrician, but you know, what's the standard of that person that you're getting the reference from? Do you know what I mean? Now, like, you could go look at their house and say, look, that's a beautiful house. Dylan from Concept was in here, and then it gets passed down. That's okay. But when you get it, like, say, in a coffee shop, and you're saying, well, look, John's jobs are beautiful, like, but you don't actually see the house. That word of mouth doesn't really hold then, does it really? Like,
no, and I think it's the credibility, I suppose, is what we spoke about before as well, is you're putting yourself out there. So, like, I'm putting videos of myself, my team, and obviously there's a lot of other people doing it as well. So if you leave a bad job behind, people will be going on slating you on social media and stuff like that. So we're working so hard in the background trying to build our name and build a good reputation for ourselves. It can only take one bad review or one bad post to kind of tarnish our name.
Yeah.
And I do think that maybe back then, as you said, with a Golden Page or anything like that, you don't know who you're getting.
Yeah.
But you hear the cowboy builders all the time where, like, lads will come in and do a bad job and then just disappear.
Yeah.
Phones off, no word, gone with the money. But now with social media and the presence of maybe like even Google reviews and stuff like that, and having a platform for your company. So I think that's what a lot of customers are coming to us for now, is because, like, we have the websites, the Googles, we have all the social media, so we're credible.
Yeah.
And then people are able to come to us, trusting us before we walk into their home, really.
Accountability is there. And I think it's something, I think, as well, that, like, you know, you'd be proud, and you've mentioned it before, Keith, like, you know, you go out, you spend a bit of money, you get your hoarding made up with your signage on it, and you're rocking up to a job. You're proud to put your, you know, company name up there outside somebody's house on the bit of hoarding, and get in and do a bit of work, and hopefully get a bit of, you know, local area work from that, where you'll see other lads rocking up. Like what you said, you know, they'll pull up in the van outside, they'll get in and they do the job, there's no signage, and they're in, they're out, and they're gone, finished or unfinished.
Yeah.
But even if it's finished, it might be bad, you know. I just think having that bit of, you know, self-pride in yourself and the business, and getting the name out there, albeit on social media, if it's Instagram or TikTok or wherever it is, the old school signage does the job as well, you know.
Absolutely. And we're really, I suppose, that branding side of it, I suppose, off social media is where I'm really pushing hard as well. Like, we have a big job just kicking off over in Rathfarnham now, and we're at the putting the hoarding up right across from Rathfarnham Shopping Centre, and it's black, and we're putting the green strips on it with the logos, and going to get proper signage and I'll put on it, and like, it really, really stands out. Obviously, there's times where you might be in a cul-de-sac or something like that. It's not really worth a while going into the expense of that. But when you have the opportunity to put up something, it's a big billboard basically for as many
and it's free. Yeah.
Job. Same with the vans. Like, my plan in the new year is that I'm going to get a fleet of vans. I'm going to lease a fleet of vans and get it all the same color, all the same van, and all the same sign writing on them. So they're literally like
everyone will know, when they see them.
Keith was doing a bit of work out in Houghton, something, so he hired a plane and he done a flyover, you know. Logo across.
I got a boat to go up through the estuary there. Hidden me hole. Money wasn't in that job, I tell you that. But taking a step back, obviously CEO of Concept Construction now, taking a step back to childhood. A lot of people come on here and they have the same thing, like wasn't good in school, good with my hands. What was growing up like for you?
Yeah, I have no complaints, and that's the truth. I was an ordinary kid all the way through school, got me leaving cert, and I had a good rearing. Like, we weren't rich, but like we certainly weren't poor. We had everything we needed. So like, we didn't struggle. My mum and dad and my stepdad, like, they both, the three of them worked, should I say?
Yeah.
So I was reared that you have to get out and work. You know what I mean? And like my granddad, he was a con man for years and stuff like that. So we were all come from like a hard working background, like as a family, like, and you were taught from a young age, like, you have to get out and earn, and that's it. So when I was 16, I got my first job in McDonald's. So that's what I done. Like, as soon as I came to the age, straight away I just got a job. But like, my childhood was great. I'm from Clondalkin, and we moved to Balgally when I was 5. Which is Lucan, but it's practically Clondalkin. And we moved in there when I was 5, and my mum and dad split up not long after that, and then my stepdad came into our lives, and like, luckily enough, I've had 2 father figures in my life. And I know there'll be many people out there with a story with no father figure, so I'm really grateful for that, I suppose. But yeah, so like, it was just an ordinary childhood. Grew up in Balgally, and listen, getting to the age then of 15, 16, 17, like, lads up to no good around the area and everything that comes with it. And the opportunities were there for me to go down that route, but I chose a different path. I was taught different, and unfortunately some of the people weren't. Some of my friends are still in that side of things, and some are dead, some are in prison, and it's the joys of that life, I suppose. But I picked a path at the age of 17 to get an apprenticeship then. And ever since then, like, it's just, everything changed for me. But I suppose it was so easy at that point, earning 250 quid a week. Like, and the lads are earning that in a day, if not in an hour. So like, it's a case of like, it's a hard pill to swallow, I suppose, to kind of. But I know now, looking back, I obviously made the right decision, looking at where people are now that I was with back then compared to now. So that's where I came from, and that's what I had, like. So,
well, we spoke a little bit about that upstairs as well. You know, in terms of apprentices, and maybe their eyes being bigger than their bellies, type of thing, where they don't see the I suppose, like, it's a very short apprenticeship if you think about 4 years, and then like you're literally on the top of the ladder, and you're getting paid to learn as well. But we spoke about that upstairs, was like, do they appreciate that? Like, do you know what I mean? Do they see the end game? Do you know what I mean? You mentioned, yes, you did, like, you know what I mean? You got the head down, you got stuck in. You think there is apprentices out there that, you know, they might be jumping too far ahead of themselves?
Absolutely. And I think it's something that we spoke about even over our message, was about like it's so important to show the young lads now, like, what can come of this. And I think social media has a massive impact on that. Is people will see us, like, I suppose, like, doing well in terms of being able to put a roof over your head and have nice things. So, and you can get that through the construction industry, no matter what trade it is. So it's a case of, it's showing young lads that the sacrifice at that moment of time is worth it. And yes, opportunities might come along, and especially from the year I come in, is that people definitely push towards a different side of things. But it's keeping your eyes on the prize, I suppose, in the case of knowing where you want to go and just having that in your vision. And I believe that the apprenticeship program, and I think the lower wage bracket, is a really good thing, because you're literally going to work nearly for nothing, like, especially with the cost of living these days. But I think that really gives you that hunger and drive to go out and do nixers and stuff like that. Yourselves, like, if we were all getting 1,000 quid a week as a first year apprentice, you wouldn't have any drive to go out and do a nixer.
No, that's true.
This is sort of things
that's where
and that helps you progress.
That's where you cut your teeth.
And I think that's what really benefited me, is that, like, again, even obviously 350, 450, whatever it is, like, it's still after 3 years we are able to go out, and I was able to go out and hang doors as a carpenter and stuff like that. Then I'm able to go out and nearly earn me week's wages on the weekend.
Well, it's a telltale sign. You mentioned it upstairs, and I was in agreement with you. You know, the young lads, they don't want to do the work, like, they don't want to do that extra work. Like, what's the point? You nearly know a lad that's going to make it and a lad that's not going to make it. Like,
Absolutely.
Like I've had apprentices as well. Like the qualified lads, getting paid well for doing OT, but like you have a young lad that's not on great money and he won't do it. Like it's just a telltale sign that like it's an early sign that he might not, he might not make it.
And you do understand that, I suppose, coming from their point of view, like if they're on £8 an hour or £10 an hour, to stay on for the extra two, like an hour or two, like what, you're getting a couple of euro and you could be at home at that time then, do you know what I mean? So it's a case of, you do understand where they're coming from, but when it's in someone, I believe. So it's a case of,
character building.
It is like, it'll stand to them in the long run, I suppose, in terms of how well you look after them. You know yourselves.
Yeah.
Like, if someone's willing to give you 100%, you'll give them 100%.
Yeah.
But if someone's only giving you 50%, you're not going to look after them in the long run.
That's the truth, yeah.
And then probably not going to last in the long run either. But yeah, like you get out of what you give to it, is what I fully believe. And that's what I done through my apprenticeship. I stuck it out. And
talking about your apprenticeship there, like coming out the opposite end of it, you'll see a lot of lads who either just want to go and work for somebody, or they have it in their mindset of, I'm going to work for myself. And then there's the opposite end of it there, where you'll see like, the household name, it's still in Kearney. Like, do I go with that name as my business, or do I go with something, like me and Keith have spoke about it before, like, is there more potential in choosing a name for your business that's away from your family name? Does that give you the potential to grow it more, do you think? Or was that something that was in your mindset when you were picking the name?
Well, Concept Construction is spelled with a K because my second name is Kearney with a K. So it's a case of, I always kind of had that symbol of K, and I kind of wanted to keep it relative to me.
Yeah.
But then I did pick Concept because I like the name and I heard it a couple of times. But I did, when I was an apprentice, I had like DK Carpentry and this and Facebook pages, Instagram pages all set up. Like I changed the name a couple of times now. But like when I first went out on my own, it was DK Carpentry Services. And then I think right up until I set up Concept Construction, I was Kearney Carpentry and Building. So I always kind of had the family name in it.
Yeah.
And I was advised then that, I suppose, if you really, because I went limited company, and really if you want to really grow it, it's a case of you don't want to kind of keep it as a familiar name. Yeah. I suppose, not that our industry would be a case of you'd build a business to sell it on or anything like that, but with my vision with Concept Construction is that I'm going to build it to a point where I'll have lads that be able to benefit and be high up in the roles and hopefully earn the top money working under me on Concept Construction.
Yeah.
So like if I have lads that are maybe like managing directors of Concept Construction, but if I've called that Kearney Construction and their second name isn't Kearney, all of a sudden then people are like,
or if their second name is Kearney. That's even more confusing, isn't it?
I had a few family members working for me, so
you're the one to set this up. No, I'm not actually.
No.
Yeah. Why the three MDs called Kearney? Yeah,
it's something that you had raised.
I definitely took it on board when I was picking our company name. Yeah, it was like, right, it's not going to be my second name. My dad was nearly in bits crying because I didn't call it that and electrical. Like, but that was definitely on the top of my list, was just to get something electrical, but not be just be totally away from my name. Like,
there's obviously a lot of big companies out there that obviously do have a family name, and I do think it's kind of, when it's kind of either handed down or they know like they have like one of their kids is going to take over eventually, and maybe that's something different. But like I never got handed the company by anybody, so it's not as if it came with a name already. Yeah. And I don't see myself handing it to anyone at the minute, obviously. So it's a case of that's where I think people kind of, if the family name would suit that in terms of a system where we know it's going to be a third system the whole way down, that's different. But yeah, now I do believe that to build your own kind of brand, it is nice to keep it separate away from it as well.
Yeah,
100%. Is the lay of the land out there now at the minute for anybody getting into the industry? Is it, I would say, attractive to go out on your own at the minute, do you think?
Absolutely. It's harder and harder to find like good lads to work for you direct, I think, at this point. Anyone that's half decent now thinks they're ready to go out on their own. Now listen, there'll be a lot of people that go out on their own and probably nearly basically work for someone full-time, subcontracting off them. Yeah. But like anyone half decent now, especially with social media and that sort of stuff, and the traction you get off that and the amount of work you get off that, are going to go out on their own. I've went through so many lads over the last year especially, but over the last few years, and to be left with a good bunch of lads that I have now, and I'm grateful for them. and I'm hoping that I'll be able to look after them as best I can to kind of, for them not their heads to turn to go out on their own. But I do also look at, like, if any of my lads wanted to go out on their own as carpenters or whatever they wanted to do, I'd always like to be able to push them as well, because that's what was done for me. So it's a case of, like, if that's what you really want, go for it. And I want to give them as much work as I possibly can, try and keep them connected with us as well. But yeah, everybody wants to work for themselves at the minute. Whereas when I was kind of in my apprenticeship, it was always kind of, no, like, just get out your time and get as much money as you can off your boss.
Company man, yeah.
Yeah. So whereas I always had the vision of working for myself, but, like, I do think at the minute, people always, even the starting apprenticeship, I want to work for myself. What do I do? Start an apprenticeship, do 4 years, and then go out on my own. You know, in the big bad world, it doesn't work out like that all the time. But I do think there's a lot of people taking that jump straight away.
Was there a particular moment or situation or job that pushed you, you know, to making that jump, to going out on your own?
Going out on my own, yeah, absolutely. So I served majority of my time with a kind of a domestic builder, carpenter, and that's what we done, all the kind of building work and stuff like that. And then towards the end of my time, I went working on sites doing timber frame housing. Okay. And the lads were standing all the timber frame housing, and I was mainly kind of force fixing, always inside, doing all the stud work and stuff like that, all the airtight stuff. And Kev that I was working with at the time, he came to me when I came back from college after doing phase 6.
Yeah.
And I was basically nearly running the crew from at one point. And I got to the stage then that obviously I was qualified, and he said, would you be interested in taking a bit of force fixing on price? And obviously I knew then, obviously that means going out on your own and stuff like that. But I always had that vision that I wanted to work for myself. I always said, listen.
Was this your boss that said this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said to me,
play,
so that's what he offered me, a bit of price work. And that's kind of, I had a couple of lads, obviously come here, I was flat out with Nixers as well. Like I was Nixon from when I was a second year apprentice, like as soon as I got a car.
So he obviously seen it in you that you know, he probably get more of a twist out of you that way, but also like rewarding you at the same time. Because so what happens is, like, I've only started noticing this now, lad. The lads doing the Nixers, like, you know what I mean? You're losing them in the evenings. Like, if you have a bit of overtime there, you kind of have to look after the lads for that overtime, or you're losing them to the Nixers as well. It's kind of, I know what you're getting at there.
Yeah, like, and I think he obviously, as you said, he did see that in me, I suppose. And I always talked about going out on my own. I always knew I would eventually do it anyways. I just didn't know when. And he kind of gave me that kind of last little kick.
Would he have been one of your first mentors, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I suppose that's a joy of an apprenticeship, isn't it? Like, I only served like the back end of my apprenticeship with him. I had served, like, I was with a lad for 5 years. I had done the guts of me 4 years with him. And then it's a case of then towards the back end of it, then this is when I went with Kev. And
I just think that business aspect of the apprenticeship, and we've spoken about it before, like, where at the end of the apprenticeship, there's definitely scope for an extra phase that could be, you know, going out on your own. So to have somebody within your apprenticeship as a boss or as a lead, you know, fella who's over you on site, whatever it is, actually passing on bits of advice or giving you that bit of, you know, I don't know if it's a bit of rope or if it's a bit of string to get out and actually just, you know, build on yourself and grow on yourself is beneficial, not just for the business themselves, but for you and for him. I think it all comes around in droves, you know. So I just think to have somebody like that who's so open-minded and willing to actually take that aspect of the apprenticeship and put it on you is brilliant. And I think more people need to do that, because there's a lot of people that just go through the apprenticeship, they'll learn the skills, they'll get in, they'll get on site. You know, you'll be told what to do, you'll go and do it, you'll do a good job, and you'll get through that apprenticeship and you'll qualified, and then you'll make that decision to stay or go. But that's an extra sort of string to your bow, and I think it's more people need to do it, you know.
Yeah, and it was vital for me. And like, I suppose, like, what I said was that if any of my lads came to me and said they want to go out on their own, I'd love to be able to guide them in what I done and show them the ropes, more or less, as you said. And I did get that when I went out on my own, because the prices were more or less set, say, per house or whatever. Yeah. So, like, but I hadn't a clue in terms of actually pricing and then everything that comes with it. So it's a case of, that's what I was working with. And then I was kind of like figuring out per day, like, what I wanted to make per day. And then I was like, well, this isn't really working. Had a quick chat with him about money. Yeah, now what, I'll give you a little bit more. Yeah. So he's obviously making money off my back then. So we're both happy. But, like, I always rang him and he said, listen, if I needed a hand with pricing that, and even if it was going then domestic and in terms of doing, like, private work and that. So he was always helping me out with pricing. Now I'm lucky. I've always kind of put myself out there in a sense of getting to know other carpenters or other builders, and always lads kind of older than me. So I'd always have them people to turn to in terms of like a bit of a voice on a bit of pricing or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's really, really vital to have someone in your corner when you are taking that leap of faith, I suppose, and go out on your own, that you're not literally, your boss is nearly turning his back on you because you're deciding to go out on your own. Now he's looking at you as a bit of competition because there's people out there that look at me now after either working with them or for them, they'd probably look at me as a bit of competition. So it's a case of, do you want one to help you whatsoever? Whereas I think it is vital. We're all in this game together. We've all started on the same path. We're all on the same journey. We all want to win. So I think it really is vital to have someone like that.
Definitely enough work for everybody. And I think it's social media sort of brought that, community closer together. And, you've spoken about it before, like with Kieran and, other people who have come in and helped out, like when there's extra work there for you. And I think like that, when you have lads there, and we've had it even as well with a guest that we had on from England, Kate Bradshaw, where her boss actually comes in. She's out on her own now, and her old boss actually comes in and works for her.
Yeah.
And she thinks it's mental that that's actually happening, but it's like that relationship was there, and the personal growth and the professional growth like that he was able to instill in her then comes back around again. And I think when you start to see that and you start to see lads being able to sort of interlink with each other on jobs, or, you can ring up one of your so-called competitors, is what people might call it in the local area, to say, look, bit of work on here, need an extra couple of hands, and they'll jump in and give you a hand. You know what I mean?
Well, what do you do? Like, I look at it in a sense of, do I try and keep it all for myself, what I have, and don't share it with anyone else? But then at the end of the day, then when you're trying to turn for a bit of help to someone, you don't want to know you then. So it's a case of, like, I always weigh it up in a sense of, I'm a carpenter and most of my lads are carpenters and we're a carpentry based company. But the likes of Kearney, any big massive roofs around like that, I'll give Kearney a shout, because the time it's going to take me to get up there with my lads, set it up, do the whole lot, they'll have it done and they're gone. Like, I'm looking at running a construction company, so I'm looking at profit margins the whole time. So it cost me more money to do that with my lads than it would to bring him in. And then I'm trying to integrate my lads even with them and kind of learning off them at the same time as well. So like, it's not a case of like, I'm going to do everything and try to micromanage everything, because it doesn't work. And in the end, when you look at your profit margins at the end of a job, because I didn't want to kind of reach out to other people, other carpenters to come in and give us a dig out or anything like that, you'd fall behind. And it's not even that, is that if I have lads coming in to do like big roofs or even kind of fine or second fix carpentry, it allows my lads to move on to another job, or allows me to have 2 jobs running at once, or 3 or 4 or 5 jobs running at once, instead of only having one and concentrating on one then. So I think it really is vital to kind of mix with everyone. And
how dangerous is it nowadays for the likes of somebody who's young and hungry and has a bit of an entrepreneurial spur within them and wants to grow the business and wants to get it from, say, A to Z as quick as possible, to maybe just stop and think and breathe and think, I'm not going to take on too much here? How hard is that to do?
Yeah, it's what I struggle with on a daily basis, I suppose. Is that because many opportunities come to me on a daily, and I could take on so much work, but I have to be careful what opportunities I do take, for the reason being is that, as we all know, like, there's good opportunity and bad opportunity. So I could take on an opportunity which really pays off in the future, but if I take a bad one that really consumes me and really consumes me time, it could fuck up everything else that I've done, you know what I mean? And that's what it could do. So I've had to be really careful now. At the start of this year, I probably took a little bit too much on, and we're trying to juggle with it all, and kind of let the dust settle down, and we kind of figured out, right, we try and not do that one again. So I'm on an increase now again, whereas especially coming up to Christmas, people are ringing you, needing stuff done just before Christmas, deadlines, that sort of stuff, and obviously I have big jobs running. So it's important for me not to take on too much between now and Christmas, because we know there's a cut-off point, and then there'll be people left unhappy. So it's a case of, we need to really make sure that we dial in and we have a schedule and we have a structure, so that we make sure that everybody is happy at the end of the day. But there is a massive danger of taking too much on. And you start to become overwhelmed, and everything starts. I think that's a kind of a breaking point for some people, is that, like, through no fault of their own, they're trying to grow their company, and they're trying to, as you said, grow from A to Z real quick, and they're trying to take all the opportunities. Yeah, this is massive, this is massive, this is massive. And then they get to a point where they can't control what's happening in their company. And that's when burnout kicks in, and that's your breaking point. And you nearly, like, you get heard of a lot of people just jacking it in then and going back working for someone, or going back down to one man in the van, and that's it, hanging a few doors or doing whatever. Yeah. And that's what happens then, is people hit that point, I suppose, and they can't break through that. It's a case of then they just crumble and they fall back to the start. And I felt that personally myself, where it's a case of you get to that point, but I know if I just hold out, don't give up, just keep going.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out in the end, and then we can go again. But that's where I'm at right now. I think, even just as you mentioned it, is really where I'm at in my mindset right now with my business, is that it's figuring my own mental capacity, but the capacity of the business, and where all my lads are at. Because it's well and good me sitting back, taking on all these big jobs and stuff like that. I have to remember the lads that are on the ground every single day. They're all capable of doing the work, but it's the pressure then that pulls on them. If I'm ringing them, listen, I need this done today. And then all of a sudden, then I'm ringing them to leave to go to another job to get this done. And they're like, and then at the end of the week, I'm saying, why doesn't that get done? Well, you rang me, tell me to go here and go there and go there and go there. So what do you expect me to do?
Hoping our mile has are listening.
Yeah.
Screw it.
Yeah. But you know yourself, like, that's how it is. That's the name of the game. Like, and everyone's under pressure at all times, but there's good pressure. Do you know what I mean? It's good to put pressure on lads. Of course it is. But at the same time, it's when pressure is overloaded for a period of time, that's when stuff, and then you do have good lads, as we talked about, and they kind of either go out on their own or they go work for someone else and stuff like that, and that's when you lose your good lads, I think.
I think it's a good thing that you said there, because, you know, often you can be, as an employee, you can be maybe too close to the pressures of the boss, and it does sort of slip or leak its way in. And when it does sort of leak its way in, it does sort of fester then within the group, and, you know, the conversations start, and, you know, it's a bit of negativity runs through it. Like, so to be able to sort of keep that pressure in a chamber to the side to yourself, obviously managing it, because, you know, nobody wants too much pressure on themselves. Pressure, like, you know, is a good thing, and, you know, it can be a bad thing, but to keep that away from the ground and the troops, I think, is definitely, you know, going to be beneficial for the company and yourself, because nobody wants that leak. You know what I mean? Nobody wants that sort of negativity growing in it, and it can happen. And it happens in the biggest companies right down to the smallest companies. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, a guy with 5 lads on the ground, or, you know, companies that I, you know, have worked for, like, or places that I've worked in that have like 100s to 200s. Once it starts to filter out, it goes bad fairly quick, you know.
It's really important to stop that. As you said, like, it's a case of trying to keep it separate. Like, listen, I'd be probably putting out fires every day, but the lads wouldn't know about it. But I try and keep that separate. Now, listen, I'm lucky that I have 2 foremen that they nearly relieve the pressure on me on a daily basis. Like, I nearly just check in with them in the morning. Is everything all right? Just in case I have to go off somewhere and just look after something major in the company. So it's a case of, like, you are okay for a couple of hours. Is that all right? Yeah, that's grand. We have that under control. Grand. Check back with them in a couple of hours. So I could nearly get a whole day where I don't have to worry about the on-site.
Yeah.
And I'm able to go off and concentrate on something else that's really important for the company. And that's what I'm trying to structure now. I'm trying to structure, I suppose, my own personal kind of schedule during the week, that I'm out on site enough, but then I'm also in the office enough to kind of have this stuff going in the background that obviously every business needs. And it's vital that the lads are there to relieve that pressure off me. And I do try and be an open book with all my employees and say, like, this is how it is, because I want them to learn and understand, like, these are the ongoings of the company. Like, it's not just all sunshine and rainbows. Do you know what I mean? Like, I do want to try and show that to the lads a little bit, but again, you don't want to try and show them too much, because, like, it's not on them. You don't want them thinking, oh Jesus, what's going on here, or anything like that, or stuff like that. Like, it's a case of you show them enough that it's a case of you keep them in tune with the company, because I think communication is key for everyone to understand where the company is at every single stage. Like, if the company is booming, everybody like is.
Oh, look, the right amount of pressure will keep people honest. You know what I mean? And having, like, good, honest employees, like, who can understand the pressures that the business needs to stay above, you know, the water level, is only going to be beneficial. Like, it's that added pressure. Like, it's like when, you know, you have like a boss coming on site, like, who's taking out you know, the meeting that he was just at, like, with a, you know, or he's lost a quote or something like that, and it comes on, and then gets taken out on the young lad or gets taken out on the foreman, it just starts to fester. But I think like definite pressure it's definitely good in the amount that you limit through. Like, you know, I just think it's a really interesting sort of battle that, like, me on the outside, not as a business owner, listening to Keith, like we talk, listening to people that we've had on the podcast, and it's just, you know, I take it from the employee side. So I know what it's like when I'm hearing the stuff like in the business and I'm hearing what's, you know, we've lost or what we've gained or, you know, and how it doesn't affect an employee. Like, so you've been there as an employee and now you're like both sort of, you know, business owners, entrepreneurs in a sense in your own right. But do you lose that concept when you become that of what it was like to be an employee? Do you find that you lose that concept because you've got a different goal or you've got a different drive now?
I think, yeah, well, in my opinion, you kind of have to lose it because it's completely different than what you thought it was going to be. Like, you know, like you'd still get the sly remarks, you know what I mean, when you go back on site because you're probably not on the tools as much as you used to be. Well, me, I don't know about yourself, but I'm on it a lot lately, and you can see the admin slips. You know what I mean? But you know, if you're not on site, then you might get the performance slips from the lads on site. So, like what you said, having a senior figure in there doing what you would have done if you were there is vitally important. But what I say to my lads is like, if a sly remark comes in, it's like, how do you think you're being kept in the job the next 4 years? You have to price your jobs, like, and you have to price them quick. Yeah. Because if you don't, you know what I mean?
But you have to price them right as well.
Right as well.
And that's the pressure of it, is that if you're under pressure on site and you're on the tools on site and say you're a week behind getting a quote over to someone and you go home in the evening and you rush it and you miss something vital.
Yeah.
And it could throw your profit margins off and then you're working for nothing. But the lads, like, you don't see that as an employee. Yeah. You don't understand that as an employee because I'm trying to put myself back in the shoes of when I was an employee. At the end of the day, all we need to make sure is that we get enough work done in the day to keep the boss happy and we get the wages at the end of the week.
Yeah.
And then we just roll over to the next week. We're not worried about schedules or when jobs are finished. Obviously, if you start given a bit of authority or stuff like that, that's different. But like, if you're just the basic employee, just being paid to do your job as you are, as an apprentice or whatever it is, like, your main focus is getting your week's wage at the end of the week and doing whatever you're doing at the weekend, and then you're only getting Monday morning, getting told what to do. Whereas, as you flip it on the business owner end, or even the lads that are, I suppose, on a higher level within the company, the pressure's on you, and it's a case of hitting deadlines and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it is really important that, and I think that's what I'm trying to show the lads, is that I need to be in office for a certain period of time, but I also need to be out on site for a certain period of time to make sure stuff is going right. And
is taking a break or taking a holiday, is that more stressful than being in work?
Absolutely. And I suppose something I'd want to be open with is like I've suffered this year with panic attacks and stuff like that when I went away. And it's a case of, I think, the lack of control while I'm away. Like, there's only so much I can do, like, as in phone calls or video calls with the lads or anything like that. I can't, like, if I'm in the office and something's going wrong, I drop everything and leg it. Yeah. But it's a case of, when I'm away, I can't do anything about it. So I tried to structure in a way this year that we just closed up for 2 weeks and everyone went away. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's the way to do
it.
That's
what I done. We took the Billers holidays more or less. Like, I'd never done it before. And I just had to close, and that was it. And
all off to Disneyland together.
Like, that's the thing. Like, and I just tried to do it because I know I can't switch off. When I go away, I can't. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunately, as a business owner, it's just like, you can't just switch off if you know the lads are working. Like, if it's a Saturday or a Sunday, that's fine. Going away for the weekend with the missus or something. But like, when you're trying to be away for a week away, like,
work's going on.
Like, I was in Bulgaria at a wedding, and the guy's lying in the bed at night, and like, this is like at night. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is after nothing's happening. Like, stuff is that happen during the day, and like, there was a couple of problems on jobs and stuff like that. But I can't control it.
Yeah,
I'm lying in bed and I'm rattling. Like, you know what I mean? And it's a case of
same,
like, it's just, you just can't take your mind off, and then that's the mind then just going, like, and it's a powerful thing. Like, so.
It actually tires you out probably more than the physical, like the mental side of it.
I just couldn't wait to go home.
You, like, you know.
And what's the point of going away if you can't wait to go home?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I wasn't coming back reset, recharged in any way, shape or form. I was coming home like up the walls because I know I'm coming home to a couple of problems or something like that, or I just haven't been right myself. So that's why
That spills over then onto the relationships and everything as well, because they
Yeah.
can see that you're stressed, they can see that you're not giving your full sort of, you know, time and reset. Like, so it's
and there's only so much, and there's a you're trying to balance it, but like it's just so hard, you know what I mean? And like people talk about work-life balance and stuff like that. It's my work is my life. Do you know what I mean? Like my company is my life. I'm me, and I'm trying to build myself. For my family and my future family and stuff like that. So it's a case of like my work is my life. I do try and switch off. I do try and make sure I prioritize like one day a week. Me and the missus is Sunday, and that's it. Both was kind of the 6 days a week. We both kind of work. Yeah. So it's a case of the Sunday is our day where we kind of switch off together and we go out and do something.
Is that why the mentoring aspect of it now is so important to you?
Yeah, absolutely. And like Olivia is also on the program as well with me. So I think being on Tom's program with myself is that like she's in that mindset, and that's something that I think is really it's really helped me. Like,
how did you find Tom's program?
Honestly, it's changed my life. Yeah. Genuinely, yeah, it really has.
But was it something that you sought out yourself, or was it did somebody tell you about it, like to get into it, or how did it come about?
So I was this time last year. I really kind of started getting into Tom's program, and I had been on a mentoring program before, and I had got a lot out of it, and I got what I needed out of it, and I came out of that, and I was like, right, what's next? And this time last year we were doing well. Like it's a case of I had plenty of work on it, and we were building a good company. But I came to a point where I really felt like I needed a little bit more direction. So it was kind of like I didn't really kind of have any goals set. I didn't really kind of know where I wanted to go next. You know what I mean? I kind of felt like I hit the point where like I had a company, I had lads working for me, I had vans on the road, and I was like, right, this is it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's all I've ever wanted. Yeah. So like well, no, but then the hunger and desire in me said, like, I want more. So I went to one of Tom's events this time last year, and I signed up then straight away, more or less after. And just from the get-go, like I just started applying myself to the mentoring program, and everything just took off. Like it was massive. Like even between the time I signed up to the Christmas, like there was loads of things happening, and like loads of big massive projects coming through. Like the job Weston that I only done a walkthrough video of yesterday, like that came through in that period of time where it was kind of like it came across, but like I was like felt like I was nearly above my level. Yeah. And I think that's where I was at. I was like, I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs. So like, no, I'm not there yet. I'm not good enough to do that sort of thing. But when I kind of, that all broke once I kind of joined that mentoring program, and I got that job and we nailed it. And it is what it is now, like in terms of what we can see in the videos. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think there's a lot to be said, I'd say, for a company owner, a boss, if you want to call it that, to, you know, put themselves out there and be told by somebody else what they're doing wrong and what they need to do. Do you find that that's what that's what you got out of that with Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we always speak about it on the program. Like I feel like you always need to be coached by someone, whether it's just a friend down the road that is in a position where you want to be. Like, but you should always be looking at someone that's in a position where you want to be and go and get a mentor or coached off them. So I do think it's vital for any business owner to be getting coached in some way, shape or form. Like you don't even have to go out and invest massively in it. Yeah. It's a case of might be just if you're in the building game, ringing a builder that is in a position where you want to be in the next 5-10 years, and just ask them, listen, any chance of going out for a coffee? Because I've done that for a long time. Just sit down with other business owners. And that's one thing that Tom's program has brought to me is the networking end of it. So I've got to sit down with a lot of really successful business owners in that time and really got good advice off them, away from, I suppose, the mentoring with Tom. I got kind of in-depth and impersonal with them and got a lot of advice off them. So I think it is vital for any business owner to be kind of getting that kind of guidance from up above, no matter where it's.
Does it give you a reassurance, like when you're sitting down with guys that are maybe on the same level as you, or then obviously there'll be a lot of lads above your level? Does it give you a lot of confidence to make that, you say, the Western job? Would that have given you the extra confidence to maybe take on jobs like that going forward now?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When I was able to see my lads bring that job to life and really get it over the line, like that was a struggle for us because it was our first, like that was our biggest job to date. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that was the first big one that we got. Yeah. And it tested us all, but we got there in the end, and we can see the end results now. So it does naturally give you that confidence to be able to go again.
Yeah.
And I take on one of them jobs now in a heartbeat, no doubt about it. And I think them self-limiting beliefs, it's important that for any business owner, like if you're feeling you're going where you want to go and you have a vision in your mind, don't let other people tell you different, or don't let yourself tell you different, that like, I know you're not good enough, or you can't go there. Because come here, throughout my life from your apprenticeship, I was told many times, listen, you're not good enough, you won't do this, you won't do that. But like, I'm like,
most people
whatever.
will say that to you as well. And it's not necessarily for you, it's for them, because they don't want to see you getting hurt, they don't want to see you failing.
Yeah.
But you'll see that with I suppose aunties and friends and stuff like, Jesus, you're gonna do that job, or how many lads have you got working for you? Jesus, like, be careful, like, you know what I mean? But that's protecting themselves, because they don't want to have to deal with what could potentially happen. And
but they don't see the potential either that the individual has, you know what I mean? Like,
true.
They're looking from an outside in, like, so I guess like what Keith said, it can be trying to put a little bit of a blanket on somebody to make sure that they don't sort of fail, but
or hurt themselves.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's life. You know, people have to take those chances. But like talking about Tom's program as well, like, and somebody like obviously who's completed a licensee now, does that pillar of support remain then after you've completed the program? Does he still stay
like
there?
I'm almost a year on the program, so it's initially a 24-week kind of 6-month program. That's the first sign up, and that's what you're signing up for initially. So I went again. And now I'm on it a year, and like you can continuously just stay on it. You know what I mean? Like it's more, it'll get to the stage where then it's just all about accountability and stuff like that. Obviously, and you have that support structure behind you. It's always there. So I became a one-to-one client within maybe like 2 or 3 months of Tom's then. So like it's kind of tiered, whereas a case of you sign up to the course, you get on, we have our Zoom calls during the week on a Monday and a Thursday, and then you're in the group chat with everybody. And you'll work your way through the mentoring program. But then you become a one-to-one client. Tom comes to Dublin once a month. And
how forensic does that get? like how deep do you have to go? Like, is this a thing where you're giving him or whoever giving him your books and saying like, this is where we're at, this is what we're doing?
Yeah.
And they just
well, like you have to be open. Like I suppose there's no point of sitting down and trying to shy away from something or not giving the full truth behind something, because you can't solve everything. Like I was an open book, and I always am. Like I'd sit with you and I tell you everything. It's a case of like, I'm an open book because I might be able to share something with you that might be able to help you, or I'll say something and it's a case of you be able to help me. So like I went to them with an open mind with Tom, and I just laid everything out and said, this is where I'm at, this is what's happening, what do you think?
This big event now in November, the next level event, how has that concept come around from yourself to get to the point of knowing that you have the capability to actually start helping others to see maybe their potential? Did that take a while for you to get the confidence to do? And obviously that's come through the program as well. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like I suppose like with the program, like you're working on self-confidence all the time and working on your self-talk and your self-belief and stuff like that. So I fully believe that I'm ready to be able to stand up in front of people and share my story. Like I'm sitting here with you now, like this is my first time doing that like this, and a couple of months ago then I stood up on stage with Tom and my first ever public speaking event at one of Tom's events. So like all this stuff is new to me, but I believe that I'm able to do it now. And the event has stemmed from obviously being a licensee of Dream Mentor, and so we're collabing on it, and Tom is coming and speaking at the event with me. But I want to be able to bring my story to people, because listen, I think it's 60 tickets. I think we have 60 people are going to be at it. Like it's a small enough event, and I try to keep it as small as I can because I want to be intimate as I can with people. But like if one person, I know it's people always say, but like if one person gets something from the night, then that's my job done. Success. You know what I mean? I know everyone kind of says that when they do it, when he says stuff, but like that's what it is. Like it's okay if I can inspire one person to either take the leap of faith to go out on their own or get rid of that self-limiting belief to go and excel in their life, that'll be my job done in the night. I'm going to be showing people like what Dream Mentoring has obviously done for me, because it's the one thing I can relate to. I can't, like, that over the past year, like, I've been on that course, and that's the one thing I can really relate to in terms of my growth. So obviously before that, like, I'm 10 years now working in my working life, so it's a case of I've gained valuable knowledge over the last 10 years working. So I want to share my story, what I believe in and what I've been taught and what I've seen, mistakes I've made, and hopefully people can learn from that down on the night.
And it's something that the construction industry might not have seen before. You might have seen these type of concepts or these type of programs within other industries.
Yeah.
And the likes of the construction industry getting it now and having somebody the likes of yourself, like where, like you mentioned before, you know, you see somebody who sounds like me, who, you know, does the same things I do, gets up in the morning the way I get up in the morning and goes out wearing the same clothes I go out wearing, telling me how his, you know, experience has been. And I think that relates. You know, you're not listening to somebody talking who has no sort of skin in the game at all in regard to it. Like, it's not somebody like, you know, that's just a face.
Yeah.
It's somebody like who actually has been through
yeah.
it, like it's been in the trenches, you know.
Yeah, and I think that stems from like with Tom, as in terms of licensee, that was a big factor for me becoming a licensee is the construction industry, obviously. And I want to be able to show people like within the construction industry, like what can happen if you do listen and do get a bit of guidance and do get a bit of support. Whether you're joining Tom's program or whether you're just listening to an audiobook or whether you're listening to a podcast or anything like that, it's a case of like what can actually happen if you apply yourself. And that's what I want to show people. And as I said, I want to share my story. If people take something from that, that's well and good. But then I want to be able to say, like, this is what I done. Follow that. And I'm hoping that that's where that'll lead you then as well.
Yeah, no, well, it's good. And look, it sounds like what 99% of business owners come to. It's like it's a ceiling where you like what you said like 10 times already, which is like going to be drilled into your head. Like you can't pass it. Like, you know what I mean? You can't pass it. But what it sounds like to me is it's giving the guidance to be able to burst through the ceiling or raise the ceiling. Do you know what I mean? And just keep pushing, like, because that's what most lads need in business. Like, you know what I mean? It does go stagnant. It does go stale. You know, you fall out of love with it if it doesn't keep progressing. Do you know what I mean? Or sometimes you stop yourself progressing because you feel you can't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like even down to the likes of getting on camera on social media. Like I've never done that ever. Like, and it's a case of like putting yourself out there. You know what I mean? And that self-confidence, that self-belief, that like putting yourself out there and you're on camera now, and then
that wasn't so bad.
No, after you do it, you're like, what was I worried about?
Yeah.
For any, you know, budding entrepreneurs or anybody that's in the construction industry right now who's probably listening to this or thinking that, you know, they might have reached that ceiling or they're on the way to it anyway, where can they learn more about Tom's program and about yourself? Even where can they find more information on it?
Yeah, well, listen, you can reach out to me on social media, like on my personal page, Concept Construction, whatever you want. But then Tom has his own pages, obviously his own page, Tom Smith Entrepreneur, and then Dream Mentoring is the name of Tom's program. So all the social media platforms are there. Reach out, mention my name, and I'll be put in direct contact with you. And then I can onboard you, I can do everything with you, and I can talk you through any sort of questions that you have. Like people, I get it all the time. Listen, people want to invest in themselves, but then I understand like parting with money as well at the same time. And people might be only getting going in business, but want to join something like this, but the finance isn't there right now. So like they have like payment plans in place and stuff like that. So reach out to any of the pages, mention my name, reach out to me personally, and I'll be able to get in contact and I'll explain to you what to do. Like, and
be the first of many now, this event, do you think? You'll be open to do more next year as well?
Absolutely. Like I called it the next level because that's what I believe. Like is I want people to go to the next level where they deserve to be, because I feel like that's what I've done. I went to the next level and I just want to keep going. So I suppose as I keep going up the levels, I'll keep doing events and stuff like that and sharing my story. And I do want to go down the mentoring route because I get a lot of value out of helping people. You know what I mean? Like you nearly coach yourself by giving a bit of guidance. You know,
100%.
You sit down to one of the lads and say, listen, this is how you should do this, and you're thinking in your head, like, maybe I'm not doing it like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a case of, like, you're nearly kind of keeping yourself accountable. Sharp as well. Yeah, keeping yourself accountable because you have to practice what you preach. So, and that's one thing Tom does is, like, morning routines, like, he's the first one up every single morning, and he's in the gym, and he's journaling, he's doing everything. Like, so, like, that's where I see myself is going down that mentoring route, whether I have my own mentoring program or whether I'm a licensee mentor, and I don't know what the future holds on that end, but it's a case of I get a lot of value out of helping people So I definitely will be doing more events in the future. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're rooting for you and delighted to have you in.
Yeah.
Really were.
What we finish out with?
Yeah, the most difficult question, Spotify playlist. Your second song on it now, so what would you pick to go on our playlist?
I'm a 50 Cent man.
Oh yeah,
so,
go for it.
Yeah, Hustler's Ambition.
I love it.
Simple as I could literally just flick that on, and it's just playing. Like sometimes you're half listening, you might be thinking about something else.
Get you going.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Like we said, the podcast is a platform. We're just the hosts. It's we just give people the opportunity to share whatever information they have that's potentially going to help the listeners out. So fair play to you for doing that.
Yeah, no, thanks very much for having me on, lads. Thank you. Really.
Right, season 8, episode 2 in the can.
Yeah, Dylan Kearney, what a man. Concept construction. Thought it was a brilliant interview. Really hit home on the ins and outs of entrepreneurship for any young listener. Like, it's a definite for anyone. And really looking forward to seeing how his mentorship goes as well.
I guess we just do what we always do. Thank our sponsors, Robust Lighting, for their continued support.
A massive thanks to Stickers Workwear Ireland for their continued support.
Take it easy.
See you on the next one.